So a major change could be coming to U.S. drug policy today. President Trump expected to sign an executive order to reclassify marijuana as a low-risk substance, essentially loosening restrictions on it. But clearly lots of questions around what this all means. CNN's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, is here. And one of the many things that you have done so much research on and work on is you've done so much reporting when it comes to cannabis and marijuana. What is it, 7 documentaries that you've done on the topic, right, Sanjay? What do people need to know ahead of this move? How is marijuana classified now, and what's changing?
Yeah. Well, this is something that people have been talking about for a long time. The basic way to think about it is that there are controlled substances and they are scheduled. So there's a scheduling of these substances. And cannabis, marijuana, has fallen into the most restrictive, least permissive schedule for a long time. So it's called a Schedule 1. Now I want to put this up on the screen because I want you to see the language here specifically, especially that top line, no currently accepted medical use. And I think that's what a lot of people have been focused on for some time, but also calling it a substance that has high potential for abuse, similar to heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. So that's Schedule 1. There are 5 schedules, by the way. What we think may happen here, we'll see what happens later on this afternoon, but it could go to a Schedule 3 substance. And if you look at the language there, it's different. It's more permissive, less restrictive, moderate to low potential for dependence. They still say examples, ketamine, anabolic steroids, and testosterone, but also some potentially accepted medical use. So those are the big things. It's still a controlled substance. So this isn't something you can suddenly go buy over the counter or at gas stations or things like that. But it's going to be much more permissive in terms of research, obviously people's access to it for medical purposes, but also this idea that I think for the first time in a long time, this acknowledgement that cannabis can be a medicine. We've seen it in these 7 documentaries that you talked about, but actually, having it changed at a federal level would make a huge difference, Kate.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because people, everyone knows someone who likely knows someone who has used cannabis for medicinal reasons. You have done so much work on why people need it and how amazing it can be in many circumstances when it comes to medical reasons. So yeah. What does this mean from a federal level if this changes?
Yeah, so first of all, on this first point, there's no question, Kate, the lines between what is considered a medicine and when it becomes recreational are fuzzy. If you have anxiety, things like that, are you using it for medicinal purposes or recreational purposes? I get that. But I think what people have sort of focused on over time are really, really clear objective signs of the medicinal use of this. So I spent some time, as you may remember, Kate, with a little girl named Charlotte Figge, who was emblematic of a lot of children who had these intractable seizures. You see her on the screen there. They had gone through a process where they tried all these different existing epilepsy medications, seizure medications, several generations of them, and they didn't work. And that's when her mom, Paige Figge, basically turned to CBD, a strain of cannabis, to basically try and treat her seizures. And it really, really helped. And I think, you started to accumulate this objective evidence. And as I said, she was emblematic of so many other children. So it was one child representative of others. I think that's really what's driven this for some time now, this idea, this acknowledgement that this could be used as a medicine. But also, what has been a challenge, I think, for people in the field is that if it's a Schedule 1 substance, that makes it very hard to study. But without those studies, it was very hard to think of this as something like a medicine. So you see how challenging it was. By rescheduling it to a Schedule 3, hopefully that'll make it easier for researchers as well to study this and get some of the evidence that people understandably want. Absolutely.
Just seeing her face again brings a smile to mind, and knowing that and watching that connection that you two formed over such a long period of time. It was so special. Sanjay, thank you so much.
Sweet girl.